What is up, guys? I'm going to be showing you guys how to weld an LSD differential. So today we're going to go ahead and show you how to do that. Here's the diff right here. I got this out of my buddy's G35. He's got a G35 with a 350Z front end conversion. I'll insert a picture of that right here. He wanted me to weld this diff. It's an LSD. He's drifted on it a few times, but it's just with an LSD, if it's not a true two-way, you have a little bit of like lag in the time that it locks up. So this is always kind of a better option. Another option would be to just go and buy just like a regular open diff and weld that. Keep this for like your daily driving or whatever. But we're gonna go ahead and weld this for him, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. First, we're gonna crack it open. I forgot to ask him if he drained it, so we're gonna make sure that it's drained before we do anything else. That didn't work at all. Alright, well that happened, but we're gonna go ahead and drain it now. The way that I did mine, when I did this to mine. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just drain it like that now. Don't lose your little washer here, and do not lose that in the mess, obviously. So now we're gonna drain it, part 2. Alright, now that you've got this thing mostly drained, you're not going to be able to get it all, but we lifted up the back, we upped the angle more so that we'd get the bottom part lower. Now we're going to go ahead and crack off the face of this thing. So all of these bolts got to come off all the way around, but I'm going to go ahead and put it on this guy. You can do this on the grass. If you live somewhere that has grass and it doesn't matter that much, do it on the grass. If you don't, one of these is great to protect your concrete. Because you're going to be spraying a bunch of brake cleaner in this, using scratch pad pads. You're still going to have some oil, so it's good to just have one of these. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to move it there, and we're going to crack it up. So, if you can see here, there's a little bit of silicone in it. Now we just got to basically break that and crack this thing open now that the bolts are out. It was actually very easy. I just used a hammer and then just a punch. There's a little bit of areas that you can actually touch where there's not touching. So as you can see, like right here even, obviously you can't punch that way, but this is the kind of idea that I'm giving you. See how there's that space there? That's like a wing. You'd be punching that, but on this part, obviously. So got it off. This is what the inside of your LSD looks like. What we're gonna be welding is in here. In these holes, there's gears. So, if you don't know how an LSD works, you'll spin. Right now, it looks like the whole thing's spinning together. Now, if I had someone here to help me, you could spin these opposite ways and it would spin the gears inside. So, we're gonna weld all of the gears in these holes. There should be 4 holes around it, and then there should be 4 of these holes here that also have gears in them. So, I'll show you that better once we clean it up, but for now, we're going to start cleaning it up. So I have a scratch pad, and I have brake cleaner. A lot of people will just spray brake cleaner all over the whole thing and just call it a day, but we're going to make sure that we get in there pretty well, clean it all very good with this scotch pad. Alrighty guys, I grabbed a flashlight for the people that are only here to find out what exactly you're welding on an LSD. Focus up. So you see the spider gears in here. See if I can get that a little bit better. It's kind of hard with 2 hands to do this. So, spider gears in here. As you can see, there's spider gears inside. What we're going to be doing is trying to weld them to each other and then welding them to this whole casing. So, come on, camera. Be nicer to me. Alright, so you're going to weld those to each other and then to the casing. They're hard to reach, and it is cold outside for one, but also there's a lot going on in here. There's a lot of stuff to weld together, so you're going to want to preheat it. We're going to use a torch. You can go and do every single one individually and then start welding, But what we're gonna do, just to make sure that we get a good penetration on this thing, is we're gonna heat up one, weld it all up, spin the whole thing, heat up one, weld it all up, heat up one, weld it all up, and on and on and on. So an LSD does take a lot longer for this reason, and we're not using any plate. So in a regular open diff, you would have this spider gear would be a little bit smaller, it would be farther over, you'd have one here matching, one and one, and you'd put a plate in the middle of it, weld it all together to the spider gears, then you have the whole thing spinning to do the other side. And yeah, so if you know what an LSD is and you know what a regular diff is, that's why you're here and you're welding it. So I'm going to get started on cleaning this just a little bit more. As you can see, I mean, that whole thing was black earlier. Scotch-Brite pad did pretty good. We need to make sure we clean this too because we're gonna ground to it. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just keep cleaning. Make sure you wear gloves. Make sure you don't inhale too much of this stuff, and have a good time. So one thing I forgot to mention is that you want your brake cleaner. You can see right there it says non-chlorinated. Just make sure that it's non-chlorinated. That throws off a very bad gas. Not something that you want to be breathing in. So now, the fun part. Now you light it on fire to get rid of it all. And you're basically, oh, I might not have even gotten that. But you're just gonna let it burn it all out. All right guys, so it's actually the second day. It's the next day that I'm doing this. I ran out of welding gas, so I had to go get some, but we are back at it. All we have to do is weld this thing and seal it back up, so should be pretty quick. Like I said, we're gonna preheat everything and we're gonna go ahead and just dive right in and get it done. So you're just welding everything together and you're capping it off. Obviously you have to go get on the inside there still, but that's the general idea. It's not something that needs to be super pretty. I would like it to, but it's kind of, I just want to make sure it holds, so I'm just focusing more on all that than the overall like look of it. And you're doing this and you're just gonna do it 1,000 times. There should be like 4 of each of those. 4 of those and 4 of those. So it's a little bit time consuming. I've been going on about this for like, I don't know, probably 30 minutes now, and I've done like 4. So halfway done. It's like an hour long. So that sucks, but still fun to just get some welding in, even though it's not something that you can really make that look that great, but still good. All right, we are officially all welded up. It wasn't too difficult, it was just time consuming. But for a quick demonstration of what the welded diff does is, as you can see, now this all spins, right? Now if you have your diff open, one side is spinning. The car will spin one side only. And if you have a limited slip differential, it takes both cars to start, or both wheels to start peeling out before the system wants to lock it together, and it'll spin both wheels. That's why in drifting, a lot of people will do an open diff and then they'll weld it, because you have that instant response, whereas this will lag sometimes. If it's not a true two-way, then it's not gonna always lock every time perfectly. So this is why you do this. And now that it's all welded, as you can see, you spin one tire, you spin both tires, no matter what. And that's what we wanted. So now we just have to clean it up, reseal it. I'm gonna clean this off. I'm just gonna wire wheel all this crap out, kind of like this. Just get all that crap out. As you can see, it's all clean now. We're gonna use some more brake cleaner, get all the inside of this out. Another thing that you want to pay attention to is that you definitely want to make sure this is all clean. You don't want to have any slag on there, otherwise this thing's going to grenade itself. That's how you weld an LSD. I'm going to show you guys some, I'll insert 2 clips of like burnouts, kind of like an open diff and a closed diff, just so that everyone kind of understands what I'm trying to say here. So make sure you're on the right side. It will not close on the wrong side, so you'll be fine with that. So now you're just gonna sandwich it in. Shake it around a little bit. That way, see how I'm like moving it a little bit, just so that you can get everything, get like good coverage on that. In terms of the RTV, making good coverage, and then slide the top 2 bolts in. That'll help you line it all up. Basic steps are: remove it from the car, drain it, pop the cap off. So you're gonna pop all these bolts off, pop the cap off. There's gonna be more, you're gonna drain it out. You're gonna wanna clean the crap out of it, brake clean, non-chlorinated. Don't forget, non-chlorinated brake clean is important for the chemicals and stuff like that. And then after that, you're going to start welding all the gears together inside of the casing, and then the gears to the casing. And then you're gonna clean it again. You're gonna check that main gear for sure. Check that main gear. And then you're ready to go. You can just clean the face of the 2 pieces that are gonna be RTV'd together. Get yourself some RTV, lay it in there, put the bolts back on, tighten them down, and then torque them. Yeah, that's how you weld a limited slip differential. Open diff is a little bit different. If I can find an open diff that my buddy wants to weld or something, we'll make a video on that too. But for now, I appreciate you watching, appreciate you subscribing if you do. If you don't, you should. And catch you next time.